In this video, I take a look at the growing sense of concern that immigration could be gradually destroying a sense of nations' individual identities. It's a well-known and well-reported fact that border crossings in the US and UK have been on the rise for some time. At the same time, there doesn't seem to be a clear and decisive plan to manage the numbers of migrants crossing these borders. It's also true to say that some migration between countries can be a good thing, if that migration is managed in a way that is beneficial to the recipient country. For example, if you're living in the UK and you want to migrate to the USA right now, there are a number of restrictions on the ability to do that. You have to be very wealthy and have the ability to set up a business that would employ a reasonable number of people, or have skills and a job offer, or a family connection. It does seem, however, that illegal border crossings, particularly on the US southern border with Mexico, have seen large swathes of migrants from countries around the world. Content creators and social media journalists are regularly documenting and reporting migrants entering from China, Venezuela, the Middle East and Latin American countries, to name a few. This increase in illegal migration has clearly highlighted a political divide and helped to build growing strength on the right of politics. It's not only a factor in the USA, as the same spirits seem to be alive in Europe, with recent polls in France showing a clear concern with voters now wanting a significant shift to the right. In the UK, it feels like the government have been talking tough on immigration controls, but their efforts are being systematically overcome. Are they making the right effort? Do they have a strategy that will work? The Conservative Party, currently in power as I make this video with an election on Thursday, seems to have been selling themselves as a party that will control immigration if they are re-elected. Their problem seems to be that the people aren't buying their story so far. This could lead to a shift further to the right in the UK, with the Reform Party getting strong indications in the polls that they could become the main opposition party at the election on Thursday. This revolutionary shift comes on the back of their often ridiculed plans to deport illegal immigrants to Rwanda, a plan that has suffered many knockbacks and come under scrutiny as entirely ineffective in deterring future channel crossings. There are some outspoken challengers to this plan, suggesting it is very costly, it's a charade that wouldn't be an effective deterrent at all. So much so that the Labour Party would abandon this approach if they get into power later this week. Having spoken with albeit a small number of immigrants, they have told me that the Rwanda plan would do nothing to deter them from entering the UK. There is also a growing opinion that the ongoing illegal migration could be eroding the core identity of the UK, its values, its traditions. While change is often a good thing, there is concern that what perhaps historically may have been seen as a series of radical views is now not being seen radical any longer. There is a growing fear that is driving each of these nations to vote more substantial migration controls to protect against the risk that nations could lose their senses of origin and culture. This fear is likely to be reflected in the upcoming elections in Europe, the UK and the USA, potentially seeing a large vote of confidence to the Reform Party in the UK, the far right in France and Trump in the USA. In addition to the concerns, the lack of strategy and direction or control in place by the current leaders seems to be at the heart of the shift in people's mindsets. President Biden had a troubled debate with former President Trump in the US, leading to widespread calls for him to step down due to his age and apparent frailty. Rishi Sunak in the UK is coming under continual scrutiny over broken immigration promises in the lead up to the election. And Parisians seeing an increase in the number of street protests they often attribute to the immigrant population. Social media has become a tool for sharing real-time activities that bring to life the growing divides and in some cases grow those divides, perhaps unfairly. But people see what they see and form opinions based on what they see. It would seem that reports of a growing number of violent crimes in the USA where immigrants have been charged is leading to a backlash from many social media creators and journalists. There seems to be something more than the previously held views that these outcries were nothing less than radical views. There are some reports of immigrants being previously connected to terrorist organisations and belief that these border crossings are being systematically organised with the intention of future terrorist attacks in the USA. While this may be limited, stories like these have a powerful impact on a nation's psyche. In addition, it never helps the settled immigrant populations in these countries. Opinions and views about new immigration often leads to conflict within existing populations, with world events adding to the anger seen on the streets alongside peaceful protests in the West following the war in Gaza. It seems like there are a lot of reasons for divide right now. Often politicians and leaders use that divide to conquer and control populations, and we should be aware of that too. This also doesn't exclude the possibility that opposing countries may feed information into the social media world that can cause concern and further divide as part of creating a campaign of uncertainty and fear within populations. Whether it is with foundation or not, we're likely to see people voting with their hearts as much as their minds in the upcoming elections. We will get some indication from the election this week in the UK on the temperature here following the shift in France. Not long after, we'll see what the popular opinion is in the US elections. Clearly, this is a sensitive topic that needs proper, sensible discussion and debate, and we rely on our political leaders of the future to be transparent about their plans to tackle these issues. Whatever happens, we need to find a sensible, peaceful and safe way to manage immigration and protect each nation's identity without becoming entirely isolationist. This may be wider than just protecting the borders of each country and need much greater effort in seeking to diplomatically tackle the far wider issues some of these migrants face in their own home countries. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more.